camera now. Now he's it. I'm sure you love me already. Anyway, what about which anime we'll be reviewing? There's plenty of them out there, so why not pick a random one like Chaos Head? Chaos Head is a nice little anime from Funimation. It aired just a few months ago, between shortly after the new year of 2012, and then ended right around about April, early April-ish. Although interestingly, they actually aired the first episode over in November on a weekend, and then they just kind of forgot about it for a couple of months. Not sure why. Maybe it was due to some sort of release scheduling of the last few episodes or something like that. I guess we'll never know. Or maybe it's just the incredibly powerful and exactly timed management of the airing schedule of Funimation Channel. I suppose we'll never know. Anyway, what about Chaos Head? It was actually, from what I've heard, written by the guy who did Death Note. That's just what I've heard. Judge me on that. Anyway, so of course when I read that, I had high expectations for this because I really enjoyed Death Note. I mean, granted, it had its flaws, like people jumping to conclusions, like L saying, "Oh, someone must be killing people with some kind of an object by giving them, what was it again? Heart attacks. And they can time them." It's like, that's quite a leap. I don't care where you live, it's a little bit of a leap. But anyway, despite that, overall I thought Death Note was a very great series. But on to Chaos Head. The first episode actually had me very interested. It was just about, it was a typical, Japanese schoolboy story. It's about a boy, and there's some girls in his life, and of course one girl even shows interest in him. But of course as things go on, the girl seems not to be what he really thinks she is. So therefore, it really did pique my interest for the first couple of episodes. Although, if you don't want me to spoil it for you, you should probably just turn it off right now, because I really don't give a shit about spoilers. To me, a show, or at least a story, is not about its beginning or its ending. It's about really what goes on in the middle. And if you're just like, oh, he dies in the end, therefore this is great, or it sucks, I mean, you're kind of really missing out on the point of the story, which is the bulk of it, which is the middle. And I never really get, why people are so angry, like, oh, you ruined it for me. Now I know how it ends, but I don't really know what it's about. I mean, that's really what should be important to people, is what do these things mean? And that's why I really personally like anime, is because there is something going on in it. It may not be the most educated or even profound theme going on in the show, but there is at least something going on, as opposed to just shit happening on the screen. So anyway, back to Chaos Head. Around episode 6, it tends to kind of like go, well, on decline. There's lots of technobabble, and there's, it's never really explained to the audience. It kind of is, in the sense that, like, oh, these GE rates will do this, and they can make people act crazy. But it's kind of like, alright, well, GE rates, or whatever kind of rates they were, aren't real. So therefore, whenever, they need to apply them to something, they just apply them on the whim. And it's not really explained to audience beforehand. So therefore, they kind of just are making up as they go along. Which is really to the show's detriment, I feel. Because I really hate it when it's just like, alright, well, we don't know what's going to happen next, so we'll just make it up then. And really, that's my biggest problem with Chaos Head towards the end, is they just keep making things up, and you really have no kind of base or, something to stand on in terms of your own logic of the movie. It's really just like, oh, he just said 5 seconds ago, that is why that is happening. I guess that's why it's happening. And so you're never really kind of like, alright, I caught on to it. Or this is probably what's going to happen. And no, it doesn't. No, it's kind of just like, you have to follow their own line of logic or thought. And so therefore you're really kind of captive as an audience, and you don't really get to enjoy it on your own. So anyway, that's really kind of my thoughts on Chaos Head overall. If you're wondering how it ends, yeah, I'll ruin it for you right now in case you didn't already jump off. What is it? Like, it kind of gets really murky towards the end because basically you're finding out that I think his name is Nihisho. I'm not very great at pronunciation of foreign languages, so you'll have to bear with me on that. So the main character, boy, he finds out that he has the ability to make things up. Well, I guess there is the theme of the show, isn't it? So yeah, but like in terms of the reality of the show, he's able to make things up, like as in this comes to life and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of the point. And there's these 5 or 6 girls, I don't really remember. They're all kind of just like, as soon as you see them, you start thinking to yourself, oh, this is a harem anime. No, it really isn't that. It's really, I guess if there was such a thing, a paranoia anime. He's constantly paranoid about, what is it, the girls kind of are out to get him. Not even girls, but people in general. In fact, he even refers to them as 3D people, actually 3D girls. But you can apply that to actually the whole general sense and all. So really, I mean, the show, it kind of just falls off at the end because, of course, eventually there's an evil corporation and there's the typical, villain archetype that isn't really explored very much. Like, you get the fact that they're basically, doing these tests to kind of, I don't know, take over the world or make more money, things like that. But like, it's never really explained like how in a lot of anime they'll have an episode dedicated to the villain as to like why he's doing what he's doing. Like with Inuyasha explaining why Narako does what he does. You never get that kind of airing in this show or series. Like, I mean, to be honest, at times I was kind of like shocked that they even like showed the villain because really when he's first introduced, he seemed kind of not really like the villain. He seemed like the number 2 in command, like because he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, so to speak, in the sense that he's fighting the main characters and even the girls as well. And you're just like, oh, I wonder if there's a really big bad person like that. And you're just kind of watching it and thinking to yourself, alright. I mean, the individual stories of the girls are kind of interesting. I mean, the only one that I don't really like is the really young blonde girl who's, 3 feet tall maybe? I don't know. I mean, I never really am much of a fan of the lolly characters whoever in any series at all, mostly because, I feel kids ruin everything, which I guess is why I watch anime, things that are targeted at children. Anyway, so yeah, and that's really kind of my problem. And then it kind of moves on to, what is it, like the last 3 episodes really kind of, they don't blur, but they do kind of sort of lose traction, sort of like the story. Because at least in the earlier, like I guess, maybe the 6 to 9 range episode, when they are explaining things, they just keep talking about GE rates or something like that. And it's not awful, but it's kind of like, alright, well at least they're still talking. And then like, towards the end, things get dragged out. And it's like, alright, well that happens, I guess, in shows that don't have much of a story. So, yeah, that's kind of just what's happening. And then, what is it? Like, the last episode, the boy gets stabbed and he's having his own sort of delusions, which is almost reminiscent of Evangelion in a sense, except, his delusions are taking place in the outside world, technically. And then, of course, he gets stabbed and he's dying, and what is it, like, he just tells the girl to wish him back to life if she wants him to. Like, alright. And that's the end. I mean, I appreciate the ending. I really do like those endings where they just kind of cut it off and you don't get any sort of extra explanation. And that's really what I kind of like about anime in general, is there is no 27th episode, in a sense. Like, I think, the first anime I ever really finished was Cowboy Bebop. And when I get to episode 26 and Spike Spiegel is dead, or, falls down, let's say that, because according to an interview with Shinichiro Watanabe, he never really states that Spike is dead. He might be alive someday. So yeah. But I mean, I was waiting for this next episode or some kind of extra reading, something to explain all right, see you next season. And that's really kind of what I hate about American television is there's always a sequel hook or cliffhanger, and it's tune in next season. And I think my best example of why I hate American television is this show. I think it was called Brimstone in the 90s. It was about a cop who was killed on the job, and he's sent to hell, and he makes a deal with the devil, and the devil's like, some souls broke out of hell. I need you to track them down for me. There's 113 of them. And it's just alright, so, and each time he kills a demon, or brings them back to hell, he has 113 tattoos covering his body. So each time he removes or kills a demon, a tattoo gets removed. And there's 113. And I think the first season of that show, Brimstone, was only 13 episodes. And of course, as you can probably tell, there was no second season. So that means that somewhere out there, that cop is still hunting down those demons, the extra 100 or so. And I mean, it's the thing that's what really bothers me about American television, is that the story is beholden to commercialism. Well, with anime, although there is also a commercialistic, influence on it, it's not as beholden. 26 episodes, very few anime go beyond that. Rurouni Kenshin had 98 episodes, and I think Bleach is probably going to go for 5,000 episodes, and there's Dragon Ball, and Inuyasha, Naruto, and things like that. But a majority of anime is really short, and it kind of goes into that whole Shakespeare speech or quote, brevity is the soul of wit. So, I really kind of appreciate that about anime. It's just it is what it is. Maybe someday there'll be a movie about it. If not, I hope you enjoyed your 26 episodes. And I think that's really kind of almost breathtaking in a sense, is that there is just this, you just kind of get it and you can be happy with it, or you can leave it alone. And I, of course, just completely eat up anime. It's just something that's so inexplicably interesting to me. And maybe it is due to the foreignness. It's things like that. But yeah, I think that's a nice place to end it. I think I got over all the major spoilers of Chaos Head. Oh, last spoiler. The main character doesn't kill anyone.